Hello and welcome back to Nadya's Identity Files. We were just, gazing in this mirror here, which reminds me of I don't know, we stormed a Rite Aid or a CVS. There's 5 of these on the table and they're laid down. It's so funny. Love it. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. I'm super psyched to talk to you.
Sweet.
You do 5,000 things. I'm going to list off just a few of your accomplishments, which is just a small sliver. You've obviously worked in multiple facets of technology, including tech journalism, running an online political magazine, Trigger Warning, and today you're a self-proclaimed transhumanist activist. That's so epic. And web developer, designer. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey as a tech maven? This is Rachel Haywire.
Well, I've always been into technology because when I grew up, I never fit in, and I didn't get along with the people in my neighborhood. And I started to meet people who were into the same things as me on the internet. And from there, I just started to connect with like minds. I started writing music. I started writing articles, founding websites, just getting minds together and creating a revolution every day.
It's awesome. What was the first website that you were on back in the day that kind of catalyzed everything for you?
So mid to late 90s, I ran my own domain. It was for teenage girls with mental health problems. It was sort of like a support community where we could go to talk to each other, but it wasn't very self-helpy. It was more like goth, punk. We were into bands like Hole, Marilyn Manson, Garbage. So just
wow, in the 90s,
girls with something to say. Yeah.
Wow, I'm just wondering what even the interface of that site would have looked like back then, because honestly, I don't think I even had access to a computer outside of the Oregon Trail computer lab situation in school until maybe 1999, if that, maybe 2001.
Yeah, it was pretty early. I mean, Oregon Trail was still
that was
really
in
my school, and we were using dial-up modems. We had CompuServe, GNN, and then AOL came after. We did all our coding on Notepad through HTML.
That's so cool.
We had no programming experience. We just went from scratch.
Wow. I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, that's where it all starts. I mean, HTML still has relevance. You still need HTML in some cases. Sometimes, I know very basic HTML. I'll just be all right, I really don't know CSS enough to, solve this with CSS. I'm just going to straight up, code this in HTML right now.
It still works.
It still works. Yeah. It still works. So let's talk a little bit about transhumanism. Obviously, I feel like there's maybe a little more mainstream awareness about transhumanism right now, especially with the release of the film Ghost in the Shell, which is a really prolific story. Lauren, I'll give you a shout out.
Hey,
our mutual contact introduced me to Ghost in the Shell. I didn't really realize how much relationship that show had with identity. So tell me a bit about your work as a transhumanist.
I've always felt like humanity needed an upgrade. And when I was involved in politics, I found there was no system of government that really solved the problem of human nature. People were still going to kill each other. They were still going to be extremely violent and cruel with one another, whether it was monarchy or anarchy or socialism or national socialism or communism. It was universal that people were still very aggressive with each other. And I decided the best thing to do about that was to change humanity.
Yeah.
That's all we can do,
So because I don't think a lot of people really understand exactly what transhumanism is. So if you could very briefly parse out the meaning of transhumanism and how it's going to help shift humanity in a positive way and not turn us into robots.
Okay.
Disconnected robots.
Right.
Kind of the misconception.
Yeah, no, a lot of people think that it's all about just becoming a robot. It really has nothing to do with that. It's about human evolution. It's the step after the Homo sapien. What comes after the Homo sapien evolves? What is the next step? And transhumanism is, in my eyes, an attempt to answer that question. So everything from consciousness, evolution, psychedelic exploration, extreme body modification, to cybernetic implants, to mind uploading, to life extension. There's a whole world out there. It's not just becoming a robot. Like anime, like Ghost in the Shell, it was definitely ahead of the curve, and that it touched on those themes very early. Now it seems to be extremely popular, more than I ever expected it to be.
Why do you think that is?
I think that as technology becomes more evolved, people take more of an interest in what they can do with their own bodies because they see new potential and new possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's maybe one side about the potential and another side about being kind of disconnected and dissatisfied with the status quo of like where humans are right now in terms of our, I guess, existing limitations that are produced by society and by biology?
Absolutely. There's a lot of limitations that biology places on us that we don't even consider. Just the fact that we're confined to one location, that we can't freely move about, and I would like to go to Brazil right now, and I'm stuck in time and space.
Since our second guest is like
and I was just talking about how much I wanted to go out there, and I'm also the fact that we have to get the same amount of sleep every night, that we need to eat a certain way, that we're confined to our bodies. We're essentially consciousness trapped inside a materialistic form.
Right.
That is the human body.
That's fascinating. How has your interest in these issues impacted your identity?
Well, as someone who has always been outside of society, I found that people that were into transhumanism, like me, also had similar thoughts about where humanity was going, where humanity could go, and what we could do to change the species and make people more creative, more free thinking, more authentic, more leadership-based, less conformist in their nature.
Right. So that's so awesome. I really want to know more about it. Are you familiar with, I always forget his first name, which is so sad. Like, my mind needs to do I don't know, faster uploading, or I need to extract things and
press
just discard them. I need to do a system clean out. I need a steam cleaner from my brain, literally.
A system rebooter and edit.
A system rebooter from my brain. So, Kaku.
Kaku? Wait, do you mean Ray Kurzweil or Kaku?
No.
What do you do?
Kaku, he does a lot of work, very existentialist, but also I think he's like a neurophysicist or a physicist.
I feel like I should know this.
Oh gosh, I forgot the book. I should have brought it with me. It's really fantastic. I've started reading it, talking about our minds shifting and us communicating telepathically and a lot of different areas like that. So I think in some ways we are already evolving in that direction, but not fully. So how do you think that we can kind of spread awareness about this movement?
I think it's a matter of making your consciousness more tuned in to certain things that people just take for granted every moment. Keeping your mind open and allowing yourself to embrace new possibilities, not being afraid of some apocalyptic doom scenario, kind of embracing the chaos and just letting things go.
Letting things go. Let shit fly. And on that note, because unfortunately time is way more limited than I want it to be, I know there's a few things that you want to get off your chest with respect to your identity and where you have been moving in your work and just a lot of things that are passionate to you. You want to share?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I've been noticing, especially the past 5 years, is that there's this self-help movement that caters toward women, where it's all about women are supposed to love ourselves and go to the spa to make ourselves feel better and self-care this, and it's and men, they're supposed to take action, right? Like if men have a problem, go and change your situation, go do something to make your life better. But if you're a woman, just focus on your self-esteem. And I just want to say, I never played the gender card, but this is something that I really feel is an issue. The way that women are targeted is like these self-esteem meters, I think is bad. And I think the transhumanist community is more open to women that are more scientific, that are engineers, that are developers, programmers, coders, musicians, artists.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right direction to go in.
Yeah, I mean, I myself have always been very action-oriented, but at the same time, I do think that taking time to introspect and engage in self-care practices, it's healthy and can then give you the tools, the mental tools, and the strength
Definitely.
to persevere with your more action-oriented
Yeah,
plans. I think
yeah.
self-care is an action that needs to be taken, but I think that what you're mentioning about the way larger society directs that conversation
Right.
is almost like envelops women with this whole idea. It's almost as if to isolate them in this like
Yes.
masturbatory practice
Precisely.
of spa days or something.
Right. Keep us
So-
isolated at the yoga studio so we don't accomplish anything because we're so busy meditating.
Yeah.
It's very condescending. And I'm
very
not saying that I'm
patronizing.
against self-care, though I think the term is definitely
You're talking
used
about how
in
it's being
an
directed.
exploitive way.
Totally.
I personally wish that it wasn't used in that way. And
How would you use it?
I would use it in a way that involves taking care of yourself, bettering yourself, opening your mind, learning new things, having
love
new
that.
experiences.
Opening your mind.
Yeah, it's
There's not
all
enough
about
focus on our
that.
minds. Like,
That's what I
you
think.
know, why don't you take time to relax?
Right,
I'm like,
right, exactly.
Oh, stop worrying and
Right,
fighting about my
right.
relaxation.
What about some time to think?
Like, shut the
What about some time to philosophize? Or
Dude.
what about that?
like 100 times like 5,000.
Right.
Literally. I love it. I'm so on board with that. So on board. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Yeah.
When we come back, I will be sitting down. Well, I'm still sitting down. I'll be standing up, then going back, sitting down, talking with Jordana about her important work to end homelessness through her initiative, the Nylon Project, and all kinds of other things that she's involved with. And then after that, we will do our roundtable conversation. So excited. Stay tuned.